Hello everyone, welcome back to Fairly Determined FM with me. My name is Chris. I hope you're all doing very well. We're champions. I think it's time to do a quick run through of how the season went, where I think we need to strengthen in preparation for Friday's episode, which would be sort of like a edited live run through of the transfer window. I mean, where'd you start? Like 107 points. That's a record, I think. We only lost 3 times, those games against Norwich, Ipswich and Millwall. But we finished 21 points ahead of Nottingham Forest in the end. Fulham were the team that came up through the playoffs as well, which helped us out. Barnsley not coming up, and I'll explain that in a minute. When you have a look at the form over the season, you know, we went on so many, like this run here from when we lost against Ipswich. You know, I thought at this early stage in the season, you know, we'd done really well in these first few games. So it was our first game we lost. Blimey. So we'd done, you know, really well in these first few games in the Championship. 3 wins on the bounce, a couple of draws, and then a couple of 1-0s. And then we lost, and I thought, it's going to get tough. And that was sort of borne out then by October, where, you know, that form was distinctly average. But then after that loss, after that draw with Cardiff, we just went on and on and on and on and on and didn't lose again until February when Norwich beat us. And then after that, again, didn't lose. You know, we had this lovely run. We won the league there. We had this lovely run at the end of the season where we nearly beat everyone, just Fulham, you know, at this point. Well, Alex Martin played quite well. I'm not going to say that was a disappointing game. Alex Martin played really, really well in that game. 91st minute equaliser. Lovely stuff. We just had so many sequences of really, really good results. I think it was a really, really good season, borne out by the fact that, you know, we are champions. Have I said it enough? We are champions. It's a cliche, but, you know, the hard work really does start now because the squad needs a bit of work. Now, in terms of where we need to strengthen, the one position we definitely need to strengthen is wing back. We still only have Harry Pickering. Diego Sanchez did not perform well enough on loan for me to even consider bringing him back in for another season. Harry Pickering cannot be our only option, so I need to solve this problem. But honestly, everywhere else on the pitch, I'm not really planning a big spending splurge. I think this Premier League season is going to be really, really hard, and I think we are going to be battling relegation for a lot of it. So I don't want to put the club in a position where, you know, I overspend on transfers and overspend on wages because we lost like so much money. So the board injected 15 million or 7 million pounds or something like that to cover losses incurred during the season. But before that, our losses over the season were 15 million. So he put in a lot of money to cover those losses. And a lot of that was player wages. You know, arguably we're in the Premier League now, so the money we're spending on wages is going to be nothing compared to what other teams are spending on wages. You know, the likes of City, Liverpool, United, all those. Even some of the teams in the bottom half of the table where we're going to be camped out for much of the season are spending vast quantities of money on wages compared to what we will be spending. But all of which is a rambling way of saying I don't want to overspend on these things in the reasonably good likelihood that we do get relegated straight back down to the Championship and then find ourselves absolutely screwed. You've seen it happen in the past. You know, clubs go up, they spend a lot of money on wages, they come back down, they cannot afford those wages anymore, and they're left with players who don't really want to be there on far too much money, and it can go horrendously wrong. So yeah, you can see like our wage structure at the moment. The top players get the upper half of £20,000 a week. You know, that 20 to 30 bracket, they get the upper half of that. The reality is, I think next season players are going to be getting probably 30 to, well, not probably, I know for a fact, and I'm saying this for a reason, we'll get to that. Players next season will be getting 30 to 45, I think, as sort of like the upper range. Those sort of like star players, important players, are going to be in that 30 to 45 range, but no more. Like anyone who wants more than 45 is absolutely going to be out the door. It's going to be a tough rebuild, but again, because of that and the money situation, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to try and get Ronnie Edwards in back for another season on loan because he's just really good. He can play in several positions. Similar with Pascal Zeet, I'm going to try and get him in for another season. Indias is not. Louis Miguel Parra turned out to be my first bit of transfer business. Leeds only wanted 1.2 million for him, you know? And I thought he's 20 years old, he's pretty decent. He's got a chance to be quite good as well. And he didn't perform terribly for me. Like in 15 appearances, he's got 6.81. As a backup option, you know, out on these wings, 1.2 million made perfect sense to me. So he was our first bit of business. There is an elephant in the room, Paul Patterson-sized elephant, unfortunately. He is wanted by a few clubs. Well, he's wanted by Fulham. That's changed. It was Wolves and Everton a minute ago. He is undoubtedly one of the best players we've got, if not our best player. 26 goals, 7 assists, 5 players in the match, 7.41 average rating over the course of last season. And then the season before that, he got 19 goals in 37, 7.17. He's just a machine. He scores goals. However, I made a boo-boo. Last season, there was some clubs circling around him and he had pretty low release clause. So I renegotiated it and it's sitting at 15.5 million. If he wants to go, he will go. I haven't tried to offer him a new contract, actually. Offer a new contract. Ooh, ha ha ha, ha, hello, 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 hello. Star player will look to strengthen the following. Yes, I'm going to promise this and I'll tell you why in a minute. Relegation release clause. Yeah, sure. Relegation release clause, sure. Spooner, 36 grand. No, I'm going to give him 40 a week. Minimum fee release clause, 30 million. Yes, that seems fairer. Right. What does he think about this? 41. No, we'll go 40. You want a lot of loyalty bonus. We'll go 1.2. Christ, I've never negotiated contracts at this wage before, ever. Even Schalke in the beta, I wasn't negotiating this sort of wage. I'd want 30 minimum. 30 and you can have your 41 million. Your 41k. Yes. Haha. Well, that's that problem solved. Right. Good. So forget all that. Forget everything I just said about Paul Patterson. Actually, that makes the next bit of news even better. When I thought I was going to be losing Paul Patterson, I started looking for another striker. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will see on this screen someone who will be joining the club. Welcome, Adam Eder. When I thought Paul Patterson was leaving, I thought, right, we need another striker. And I thought, well, who better than the only player in the Championship to have scored more goals than Paul Patterson, Adam Eder, with his 31 goals. You look at the comparison between him and Patterson, they are remarkably similar. The statistics over the season as well, also remarkably similar. Almost same appearances, 31 to 30 goals. He doesn't get as many assists. He scores at roughly the same rate as Paul Patterson, more or less the same average rating. Like he's a really good striker, and I got him. He had a release clause of 11.5 million, so I brought him in for 11.5 million, and we've now got two very good strikers, which is not a bad problem to have. So yeah, so welcome Adam. We've also picked up Tom McIntyre from Derby, who is a very, very good central defender. He's going to be playing alongside Vasquez. Vasquez and McIntyre are going to be our centre-back pairing. Tackling's really good. Work rate's really good. He's not the fastest, but that doesn't really matter for the way we're going to be playing. So good first touch, good bravery. Like he's a quality defender. He's coming in. I think we paid 6.7 or something for him. He's coming in on 35 grand a week. He's another good defender. He can play on the left as well, so he sort of helps out in that regard as a potential cover option for Pickering. Welcome, Tom. So far we'll have brought in Adam Eder, this Tom McIntyre, and Para on loan. Para on a full transfer. We've got £11 million left in the wage budget, which should be enough to spend, £5-6 million on an actual left back. And then the rest of it's going to be loans, I think. I think tactically, this is what I'm working on for next season. Trying to emulate Leicester, the Premier League winning Leicester side, where they had a low block, quick on the counter, happy to let teams play in front of them and then just beat them on the break. Like Mighton, he's pacey on that left-hand side. He can get up the pitch, get the balls in to Patterson and Eder. I think that's roughly where we are. So Friday's episode is going to be going through the transfer market, trying to narrow down that wing-back signing or that left-back signing, and then having a look at where else we could possibly strengthen with loan players or possibly some other cheap players. There's going to be a lot of... we're getting to that time of the season where there's going to be some out-of-contract players, and now that we're in the Premier League, we may be able to get one of those sort of like older Premier League players, with a bit of experience who want, good chunk of wage for a year, and they might be an option that we look at as well, depending on what we need and where we need it. And I will see you on Friday. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know your thought down in the comments. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you very, very soon for some transfer shenanigans. All the best. Cheers. Bye.